Welcome back to Nick Lenz's Comic Corner Classic / Known Classics. This is episode number 2425 and episode number 2319. We have a Thor trade and a Defenders trade. The Defenders trade is going to be really short. First that we have is Thor Epic Collection Volume 20, The Final Gauntlet. Yep. This book collects issues 451 to 467, along with the Thor Core miniseries. Your writing is done by Tom DeFalco, Ron Fritz, Jim Starlin, and Ron Martz. Artwork, Gary Hartle, Jeff Isherwood, Ron Fritz, who also did writing as well, Bruce Zick, Pat Alfie, and MC Wayman. This book covers time period of September 1982. We conclude in October 1983. Oh, and here's something I should point out, though. Issues 451 to 459 are the last issues, the last regular issues done by Tom DeFalco. He does come back for one-off appearance, a one-off story for 490, but these are his last regular issues he does. He also did the annual published in the previous book, so in 451 we have Blood Axe show up. Yes. Mostly put for these final issues. Yeah, basically in a way, 451 is kind of in a way appearance by Blood Axe. There's also a backup story featuring the Enchantress. They would Nightmare from Doctor Strange. Yeah, and there's also a whole thing with Odin being a bad guy here. Yes, Odin. Yep. Yeah, it becomes pretty much a recurring story here that Odin is basically acting completely irrational. For some reason, Freya is not here. Yes, Freya, Odin's wife. Yeah, he's here with Cornea, the Queen of the Norns, who is sadly no longer alive in comics. She's still around. Yeah, she's still around. Despite, Now, apparently she was very heavily involved in Thor comics. Yeah, ever since issue 140, she's been here for a long time. Took a break for a while. After 400, she came back for 431, and she's been here until 439. She came back for a handful of issues of relaunch and popped up occasionally over the years. Her last appearance, sadly, was in Mighty Thor 700, where she died. Yes, she died. Yep, they killed her off. Though she still occasionally experiences in the afterlife. Yep, so that's the whole story here, basically, and of course, Thor asks, where's Heimdall? If you find friends where Heimdall is, and he's in the Rumpisto, and Odin's like, go back to your planet of your birth. And you're like, that does not sound like Odin at all. Yeah, so Thor, Boulder, and Sif battle Mephisto. And also there's a Sabbath Mephisto, and of course the Warriors 3 revolt against Odin. Yeah, and it's actually found out, though, that Loki is possessing Odin for quite a while. Yes. Why he did this, don't know. Yeah, so basically it's all basically from 451 to about, I think it was 455 is basically where they finally fixed the problem. And Loki returned his own body, and Odin basically is restored here. But we still don't know where the real Thor is. Supposedly he was in Mephisto's realm, but he's not really there. So if you're really curious, when does the real Thor come back? He comes back in 457. You see, Eric Masterson became Thor officially with Thor 432. And Thor comes back in 457. So this was like this for 2 years. And then pretty much basically they kind of coexisted briefly for a while. Where Thor 58 is a homage to basically Journey into Mystery. Oh, it's basically Thor 126. And then 159, basically Who Shall the Hammer. And pretty much basically the last issue, 459, which is talking about was last year he does the book. This is simply a backdoor pilot to a spin-off book that Tom DeFalco will write. Thunderstrike. Yep, Thunderstrike. Which is basically what Eric Master called himself. And this lasted for a surprising 2 years. Yes. You might be curious, though. Did Todd DeFalco write this entire book? He did. He even did the relaunch. He even did the miniseries in 2011. Now, do I think they would collect it? Now, you might be asking, Nick, did they collect Thor, the Thunderstrike book in a Epic collection? Like, this is one anyways? No, they did not. I do not. They did collect one issue as part of like Thor Thunderstrike, and that's it. There's no regular trade called Thunderstrike. Not really, no. Yeah, that's one thing I thought was quite dumb for Marvel. It's like, okay, we have this really cool character, Thunderstrike, and like he gets his own spin-off book with Cold Blue, and like, really? Yeah. I'll get my final thoughts later. And then basically we have 460, we have Jim Starlin take over the book. Yes. Jim Starlin takes over writing for Thor. Very briefly. It's basically Ron Martz and Jim Starlin. Ron Martz, if you're curious, how long was he running Thor? His run of Thor was from 460 to 471 and the 18th annual. Yep. Which I'm going to discuss part of that run here. Now, Jim Starlin, he wrote the book for about 3 issues. Yep, 3 issues, 460 to 462. Yes. Ron Fritz, basically, who had been the writer of the book since issue number 383, he sadly leaves and comes back for that one-off issue, which we'll discuss in the future Comic Corner. Yep. But like, okay, so we wrap up the Thor the Strike storyline. You're thinking, okay, so what's next? Well, we have appearance here by a woman who calls up Valkyrie. She basically is created a supposed basically a lover for Thor, and she is here for a very brief period of time. Yes, and by the way, the book stops at 467, so she's here sort of like a love interest because basically Sif is basically trying to go back with Beta Ray Bill. Also, I should point out though that the backup feature thing for the book is dropped. Basically, after 459, there's no backup features for the book for the remainder of this run. So, a storyline called Quest of the Gods. Basically, it feels like a Viking-style book, which, yeah, I do appreciate the fact that basically, and of course, Valkyrie is like the main villain of this run. Yeah, Beta Ray Bill is here. It's a very interesting one. It's not terrible. It's just like, okay. Yeah, and then by 463, we have a tie-in to Infinity Crusade where the goddess is here. Yes, the goddess. Yeah, and if you're really curious, though, she's only here for like 2 issues, and then basically the crossover's done. Yep. Actually, no. She's not. Oh, she's featured in 465 as well. And of course, Thor ends up fighting the Super Skrull in that issue. Yep. And then in 466, he fights Drax. But the thing is, he's not the star of the issue. It's Odin. Yes, all about Odin. This might be a tie-in to Infinity Crusade. Interesting idea. Then 467. For some reason, they changed the logo for Thor with 467. The last issue of this book. Yeah, the logo changes. Yes, and here's the strange thing about the logo style. The logo remains like this for the rest of the run. Here it is, 467. Yeah, there's the brand new logo they have. Yeah, I'm not really sure exactly why the logo was changed for, but it was. But that's us regular issue in here. The Infinity Crusade issues were really interesting, but we're not done with the trade yet. Why? Because we have a mini-series called Thor Core, comprised of Thor, Eric Masterson, aka Thunderstrike, Beta Ray Bill, and the future Thor. Yep. Now, these 4 issues are done by Tom DeFalco. Probably his last thing he would do with the book with Thor is his miniseries. Is it interesting, though, he would do this book during the time he wrote the book? Yeah, I think he wrote it just basically sort of like his final goodbye to Thor. Yeah, and the Thor Corps, they actually made a debut in issue 440. That was the first appearance of the Thor Corps, and this was a miniseries for them. And after that 2-part appearance, they have this miniseries here where they fight this guy called Demon Staff. Which, you look at him, he looks like basically like Tom DeFalco was ripping off, well, he's the artist anyways, was ripping off, well, Deadpool. He made his first appearance in the first appearance of the Thor Corps, and then appeared with miniseries, and they fight him this whole miniseries. He's basically the arch enemy of Dergo Corps, the Thor from the future. I think I with the Thor Corps miniseries really good, and of course they used the new Thor logo as part of the title, which is interesting. So then we have issue 2 where they team with the Invaders and the Midnight Wreckers. Yes, who are from the Machine Man book. Yep, who appeared in this one issue, and then appeared in 2020 in an issue of Avengers, and that was it for them. There's also Warlord Krugel, who was original to this miniseries. He appears in the first 2 issues in issue 4, and then he becomes sort of a recurring villain for Fantastic Force. He also fights Psylord, who was actually Franklin Richards' future, and Iron Man 2020. And issue 3, this is really cool. We have guest appearances here by Spider-Man 2099, the Guardians of the Galaxy of the 31st Century, Two Gun Kid, Rawhide Kid, and Kid Colt. And in the real Thor joins the group in the final issue, has to fight Demon Staff, and that's it. Yeah, overall, really fun book. Loved it. I give this book roughly a 10 out of 10. It was that good. Yep. Alright, next up we have is, let's see if I can get to it here. Here we go. Yep. Now we're discussing Marvel Masterworks Defenders Volume 4. But with this book, we're only discussing the opening 4 issues. The reason, because the rest of this book I discussed before. Basically, we're discussing 22-25 because 26 to 26-29, along with Giant Size Defenders number 5, I've discussed those issues already in Guardians of the Galaxy Epic Collection Volume 1. Oh, if you're really curious though, the book itself covers actually 30. I don't think I covered it yet, but so basically 22-25. That's basically from April to July, and then basically we're finishing up the year of 1975 here. Mostly put in the case of these 4 issues, this deals with the Sons of the Serpent story. Yeah, it's basically a 4-parter. Now, the writer for these 4 issues is Steve Gerber. He does not write issue 30, that's Bill Manslow. He also writes Giants' book, and his book has, oh my gosh, one. Pretty much all these guys wrote the Giants' book. Steve Gerber, Jerry Conway, Rod Chivell, Lee Wing, Chris Claremont, and Scott Inman. Sal Busher was pretty much all the artwork for all the issues except for issue 30. Don Heck does the Giants' book. 22 is co-done by Mike Esposito. Yeah, most of it was like Valkyrie on her own, and she gets like a new attire. And this also reveals that the Sunset was actually financed indirectly by Kevin Ryman, aka Nighthawk. But it turns out, nope, he is not responsible. It's actually his financer. Yeah, in case you're curious though, was it the first book Sunset popped up with him? No, they popped up in the pages of Avengers first. This actually was a return since issue 74 of Avengers. Yes. Yeah, and then we have basically Jack Norris. Yeah, who is who reunites with, well, Valkyrie, who's Barb Morris. And, well, this technically was his first full appearance. And then there's actually a character who's financing it. Let me get if I can find him here. Yeah, Yellowjacket gets involved with the story along with Satan, Power Man, Daredevil. So, the person responsible for this It's on 25. It's actually J.C. Pennyworth. Yeah. Turns out he was one funding money from Ryman to do this. Yes. I don't know why, but they did. He did this for some reason. And this, sadly put, would be one of his last appearances. Yeah, he's a character originally for this book, and he pops up a few more times after this, and that was it for him. He pops up a couple more issues of Defenders and issue of Avengers. Issue 342 on computer screen, but his last technical appearance was issue 36. Yep. But it's a really fun story arc. I enjoyed it. Issue 30, if you're really curious about 30, is like 30 part of the whole Guardians of the Galaxy stuff. No, it's mostly put by a guy called Tapping Tommy, who just basically just a magician. Yeah, it's basically just a one-shot issue. Yeah, that's much how what comes this one. Yep. So yeah, that's it. Particular view. Stay tuned later on for more comic corners, but you'll find out later. Okay, bye.